Hello, beautiful projectors with the projector movement. My name is Kelly Roland, and I am going to be offering you a very special pick a card reading. Now, this pick a card reading is about what does 2022 have in store for you. So as you can see, there are 4 piles here, moving from left to right. And each of these piles has been fused and filled with a certain message. I do not know what the cards are, but I have meditated with each of the totems for each pile and selected cards to go with that totem. So if you're new to a pick a card reading, essentially what it is you're going to trust your intuition and notice which pile are you most drawn to. I recommend that you try not to get too focused on the aesthetic of things, but more so the feeling. So maybe first you want to pause this video and take a nice deep breath into your belly. You want to take a nice inhale, hold it, release your exhale. And then as you scan these decks with your eyes, notice which one do you feel most pulled to. Now, some people also like to check the timestamps, or maybe you want to pick pile number 1. So trust your gut, follow your intuition, follow your authority, and notice those subtleties to find which deck specifically is for you. I'm going to take you through them briefly. Pile number 1 is a smoky quartz. Pile number 2 is a red rose beeswax candle. Pile number 3 is a citrine. And pile number 4 is rose quartz. So I'll give you a minute, maybe pause the video, notice which pile you're most drawn to, find the timestamp below, and receive your message for what does 2022 have in store for you. Okay, for those of you who chose pile number 1 with the smoky quartz, let's see what 2022 has in store for you. So I am working with 4 different decks today, and we're going to start out with one of my favorite decks called the Archetype deck. So let's see what we have. We have the Creator. We're on my art table. That's why there's paint on this table. I'm a creator myself. So maybe some of you are creators out here. Maybe some of you are looking to actually start a new creative venture or embrace more of your artist. So what we have here is we have the Creator, the Maiden, and the Shadow. So what I noticed looking at these cards is that there's a lot of color in the first 2, but there's also this lingering darkness in the back. So there's this explosion of color. We also have a really strong emphasis of hands. We have a hand in this card with the Creator holding a paintbrush, and then we have the Maiden holding her hand over her body. So I'm getting this sense of perhaps 2022 has in store for you, pile number 1, more of a presence of working with your hands, making, creating. Maybe you want to get more hands-on. Maybe there's some kind of project that's been pulling to you that's requiring you to be more hands-on. And this doesn't even necessarily have to mean that it's a vocation or a career path. This could mean that it's a hobby, a passion. I definitely feel like there's this really strong presence of working with your hands and feeling your creative power through your hands. Now, when we have the presence of the Shadow card, I feel like as you move into 2022, because again, we have stronger resonance with the color and the brightness and the enthusiasm than we do with the darkness. So I feel like 2022, maybe in the first couple months, there's going to be some residual shadow you're still working through. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of support for you to embrace your creative energy, to go forward with that project, to go forward with that hobby. And I do feel like a really big gateway for you to move through the shadow is going to be leaning into your Maiden. So Maiden energy, whether you're a man or a woman, is known as that really ripe, sweet, innocent time of our youth, our adolescence, and even our young adulthood, when we feel like the world is our oyster and we can go out and we can be radically curious. And I feel like 2022 is really inviting you to embrace your radical curiosity, your innocence, so that you can be creative. And actually your creativity is going to be a way that you move through your shadows. A lot of shadow work can be very intense and heavy, and I feel like the message for you all, pal, number 1, is that you're actually going to move through your shadows by embracing your creativity and your innocence. So let's see what we have going on with a few other cards, I'm going to look at the Threads of Fate. This is a really sexy deck. It's like matte black. Let's see what we have going on here for developing themes. So definitely a lot of creative energy I'm seeing, and a really needed presence of your innocence. Self-love and the peacock. I love that because peacocks are actually known to be the symbol, I would say, not known to be, but I like to think of peacocks as the symbol for projectors. All about shining your light in the world shamelessly and just being as you be and letting the right people recognize you. And then we have the wilding. The wildling. Wow, okay. You're a really interesting group, pile number 1. So we have the creator, the maiden, which is this like innocence, moving through the shadow with creativity. And then we have self-love and the wildling. So I do feel, you know what I'm actually getting as I see this pile unfold? I feel like there's going to be in 2022 for you all a really beautiful reclamation of your inner child, of your childlike essence, of your sweetness, of your innocence, of your playfulness, of your self-love, coming back to this innate self-love that you are. And that may feel very wild. That may feel like you are going against everything you've built up as you reprioritize your inner little one, I like to call it, your inner maiden, embracing your creativity, creating your own life. And the only thing that's going to hold you back from that is your shadow. But as you know, I'm sure you know, working with the projector movement, that our shadow is something that can give us the greatest amount of light when we willingly work with it. So creativity is going to be a powerful way for you to move through your shadow because it's going to help you anchor back into that inner child within. I really feel a lot of inner child reclamation for you all in 2022. And maybe you've already been setting these intentions or you've been feeling this coming. I would definitely say a beautiful practice could be look back to what your, 5-year-old self loved to do, your inner maiden. Or what's the male version of a maiden? I'm not sure, like a... that innocent little one in you. How did they love to create? How did they feel deep self-love? And how can you wildly start embracing those kinds of ways of being in your life? Even if it feels like you're totally going against what you have established. Again, all does not need to be lost, but it does feel like there is this ever-increasing desire from your soul for you to come back to your creativity. Now, perfectly on theme with this, we're going to look at 2 cards from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. Let's see what we've got going on. Restore and Replenish, also a very projector-esque card. Let me move these a little bit to reorganize and reorient. I like this card right there. I really like honoring the shadow, especially as projectors. Projectors can have a pretty tough time with all that conditioning. Your shadow is your greatest gateway back to your light because it's pretty much just saying anywhere where there's not self-love, how can you wildly come back to love? How can you wildly be the creator of your life? Prioritize your joy, the things that make you happy, your excellence, your mastery. And the shadow you're going to find is your best friend on that journey of mastery. So we have Restore and Replenish and Follow Your Own Rhythm. Okay. I actually love that these cards ended up next to each other. We have Restore and Replenish right next to Self-Love. And then we have Follow Your Own Rhythm right next to the Wildling. So I do get this sense that in 2022, and not to create any fear, but I do feel like there's going to be a breaking away. This might be breaking away from some kind of career path, maybe from unserving or unfulfilling relationships and connections. I do feel like there's going to be a breaking away so that you can restore and replenish. It's necessary. There might be some detoxing at the start of 2022. There might be some detoxing in your relationships or maybe even in your body. Anything that essentially is not aligning with self-love for you. If there are any relationships, any work things that are not anchoring you deeper in self-love, I think they're going to have to go through a detoxification and realignment process, or they may have to be released. And again, this is where I see the Wildling and the Follow Your Own Rhythm. It's like you're really creating your own way. You're creating your own path. You're embracing a new path. You're embracing your creativity. But as we know, for projectors, your greatest energy, your greatest contribution comes from a deeply rested, resourced, calm nervous system. You have to make sure you're getting adequate rest, nourishment, sleep, care, having your needs met by yourself and by your inner circle. So make sure you're coming from that place. This does feel like a message coming through with this pile is like a little reminder, like a little tap on the door of, please remember strategy and authority. Please make sure that you're rested and you're waiting for the invitation. You're waiting for the recognition to move forward. I think that's going to be so vital for you all, because I do feel like 2022 has some bold moves in store for you. And you're ready for it. I feel like you're really ready for it. You're ready to create. You're ready to embrace your own path and maybe even come off as a bit of a wildling. You're ready to break what has been known so that you can truly be living a path of self-love, following your rhythm and not being afraid to stand out. Something I always say to my projector clients is like, you're not here to be understood. So don't be afraid to be the wildling. Don't be afraid to follow your own rhythm. Just don't try to get everyone else to join you. You just paint the picture. You just follow your innocent heart. Make sure you're rested. Show up in self-love. Follow your rhythm. And notice who notices you. Notice who recognizes you. Those invitations will come. Let's get some tarot cards here. And this is going to maybe help us to see a little bit more of a storyline. So we have the Hermit in reverse. I love this. We have the Hermit card in reverse. So I feel like you guys are coming out of a time of that hermitudeness, that kind of isolation. Maybe some of you have been, actually, okay, this is feeling really true. Yes, always make sure you're following strategy and authority and coming from a really rested, restored, resourced place before you give a lot of energy. You want to make sure you're resourced and your projector body feels loved and that its needs are met by yourself. But I do feel like a lot of you, it's almost like you're coming out of this. It's this emergent transformation. So maybe a lot of you have been doing this in 2021. Okay, this is feeling more alive. And then 2022 is you're no longer needing to be in the hermit. It's like, come out of the cave. Come out of the cave and share your wisdom. Okay. Now we have the Sun in reverse, which also shows me that this is, to me, is connecting to the shadow card. I think that some of you are still fearing your gifts. I think that some of you are afraid that perhaps, for example, your creativity is not good enough, or you're coming up against your shadows. And I think 2022 is going to be a year that you really get to see that that's not true. And I think this is where your maiden, your innocent one, really supports you, because the child in us isn't looking for approval. It's not looking for validation. It's not looking for credit. They do what they do because they love it. And I feel like that's what you're being invited to step into. Is like, how can I do what I do because I love it? Not because I'm looking for validation, not because I'm trying to be the best, but because it makes me happy. So how can you derive that warmth and joy from your own creative process, not externally? Okay. All right. So I like this one. We have Two of Pentacles in reverse. We have a lot of reverse cards, but reverse cards aren't always negative. Sometimes they're really helpful. So for this card, I see that you're going to be making a choice. And I do feel this pile specifically has to do with some kind of creative venture or personal hobby. I think this is like an art you're bringing to the world, or a creation you're bringing to the world, or maybe your own creative process that you want to deepen and steepen into. You're going to be making a choice. Some of you have been perhaps considering two options or two paths, and I feel like 2022 is going to be a really great time where you flip that on its head and you make your choice. The indecision is no longer very present, because we have the Page of Swords, which is all about as well making up your mind, determination, moving forward with courage, with persistence, with focus, saying, okay, it might be a long journey ahead, but I'm going for it. So I do feel like this message is coming through for you, Pile 1. Like in 2022, exercise your ability to make a choice. Just choose it. Choose it and follow it and create and show up and create your own rhythm within it. And I love that actually these two cards have stacked up, the Wildling and the Page of Swords. So it's like, I do feel like your discernment is going to really serve you very well. Your discernment and also your pragmatism. I think some of you have been really sleeping and resting deeply, and this is a year for you, 2022, to feel your decisive power and not be afraid to make a decision in regards to your creative path, your hobby, your passion, maybe this venture that you are starting out on. Then we have Three of Cups. Okay, so what I see with this card being in reverse is that this is a you year. I feel like 2022 is not about you. I mean, you can still have your environment and your people, but it's not about you like fitting in with the crowd and doing what everyone else is doing and being really popular. And it's about you following your rhythm. Again, the cards always link up so perfectly. Follow your rhythm. Don't get too worried about the crowd. This card is all about, communal parties and networking and gatherings and celebrations and festivities. And although that is wonderful and so joyful, I feel like in 2022, pile one, there's this energy. You're like, I'm getting down to business. Like, I'm gonna just follow my rhythm, regardless of the quantity of people around me. So I feel like focus on your process, and that's gonna yield the best results for you. Again, you don't have to isolate yourself. However, I think this is what it is. It's like, be wary if you're actually deterring your own creative process and your own innocent desires because you're just kind of following the crowd or you don't want to be alone. It's like you're going to have such joy from your creative process and your reawakened inner child that you won't even feel like you're alone if you're alone. You're going to be so deep in this new creative project and endeavor. And then finally, we have the Queen of Cups. Straight up. So this shows me that, yeah, I do feel like a lot of you are artists or creatives, or you're embracing more of your creativity, or you're coming home to your creativity or more of your feminine essence, but not the feminine essence that we're often taught is very passive and receptive, your dynamic, creative feminine essence who says, I want to make things and I want to birth beauty in the world and I want to feel my creative power. You know, feminine energy is what births existence. So I feel like you're all really tapping into that. It's like your creative feminine energy. Yes, the rest and the restoration and the peace and the calm, but also dancing with life and bringing your paintbrush to the canvas of your life and really feeling your creative power. Now, the final card, I wanted to choose one of the Journey of Love cards, and perhaps this is a gateway into potential love for you in 2022, but overall just kind of the overarching theme of love. What does love as an essence have in store for you for 2022, whether it's relational or in your friendships? What message of love wants to come through? So we have card number 33, God Speaks. Whoa, okay. So I am actually gonna quickly pull up the book for this one. I don't fully recall the message, but I do know from this card and from what I'm seeing here and just picking up intuitively, I do feel like a lot of your love that you receive in 2022 is actually going to come through your connection to God in form of your creativity, in form of your creative passion. You were going to meet God through your creativity. You're going to meet God through your inner child. Now, this isn't about being religious. This isn't about any sect or religion or spiritual path. This is about whatever God means to you: spirit, creator, nature, divinity, source, presence. Through your gateway to God, through your gateway to source, to illumination, you're going to reach that through art. And through that, you're going to find deep, deep love. This oracle brings you guidance. You are being loved into becoming. Be open to being shown the divine genius in all that is happening. If you feel you are being nudged, know you are being nudged by the divine. If you feel you are being held back, know you are being held back by the divine. All is happening perfectly for you, and all will unfold in divine timing. I love this card for you, pile number one. It has been such a pleasure to read for you, and I wish you a beautiful 2022. Carrying on to pile number two. Hello, beautiful projectors who chose pile number 2 with the beeswax rose candle. I love this candle. Well, let's see what 2022 has in store for you. So I'm going to start with my archetype card deck. So let's see what we have to set the space here. We have Apocalypse. And then we have the Ocean. And then we have the Self. Okay, already such a different energy going on here than pile number 1, which is so fascinating. So it's going to take me a little bit to drop into this energy and really see what's present here. But the first thing I notice and the impression I get from you all is like, you are learning in 2022 how to allow more of your depth to come through. I feel like you, group 2, pile 2, you have a very, and who doesn't, but you specifically, and maybe you have felt this way your whole life, you have this complexity to you. I'm getting a lot of Scorpio energy here. I'm getting a lot of also Capricorn energy here. It's like these intricate, immense depths. And I think that group number 2, I think you've seen a lot of pain in your life. And again, I'm not trying to sound dark with this reading. I'm just fully reading the energy of what I see present here. And I know many of you probably know this as well. If you're on the path of self-discovery and alchemy and emotional work, the things that hurt us the most in life are usually the things that bring us the greatest keys of wisdom and illumination and compassion and self-love, because they take us on that journey of healing. And I feel like you, group number 2, you have seen a lot in life. And you have this depth, you have this oceanic depth to you that is ready to come through and be seen. You are ready, or 2022 is ready for you to be recognized for who you truly are, in your complexity, in your depths, in your immensity of how much you feel and how much you've experienced of life. Now, when I see this card, the Apocalypsis, it's all about resurrection. It's about an ending that yields the way for a new beginning. Same as the ocean tides. If we didn't have a low tide, we couldn't have a full tide. So I feel like as well, maybe a lot of you here are emotional projectors. I am getting a really strong sense of that emotional authority, how to navigate those depths, those high tides and low tides, and let them lead you to that pearl of yourself. I'm also really feeling called to invite you to check out your pearl in your gene keys, if you have never looked at that. And even if you don't know a lot about gene keys, it's just really standing out to me that this pearl is in the center of the self. And I think that your pearl gene key in human design is going to have a really strong message for you for 2022. So what I see with the apocalypse, the ocean, and the self, 2022 for you is resurrecting like your true deepest self. And I do feel to say, I feel like you guys are very intense, resilient souls. So I know that you will hear this. I pray that you will hear this and feel encouraged by it, not discouraged. I feel like for you in 2022, you are being given this golden opportunity to step into the world as your true, full spectrum, complex self. And as much as you are open to that, you will be blessed with grace, with ease, with support. But if you're still resisting your own depths, your own complexity, your own emotions, yeah, there might be some things that have to break down. There might be some things that have to die and resurrect, but it's to support you. So I think if you're seeing this reading, take it as a little nudge on the shoulder that it's okay for you to be you. And I do feel like for you, projectors, pile number 2, community is going to be really important. Like, think of the ocean. It hosts such a wild spectrum of life. There's so much coexistence that happens in the ocean. And I feel like your environments are going to become increasingly important to you in 2022. And you have to ask yourself, are my environments allowing my complexity and my depth to come through? Do I have really shallow people around me? How can I change that? Maybe I want to go to some new groups or join some new programs or be a part of a club or read more books and join a book club where we're studying philosophy or existentialism. It doesn't have to be that, but places that support and encourage your depths. Or maybe you yourself are creating that. Maybe you're creating that from the depths of your own transformation and oceanic insights and wisdom. You are now stepping into a position where you are shining out the rays for others to get involved, stepping into your projector power of being a way shower and a guide. And I do love that this card is, it's the self, but this is a very projector card, because we have the self and we have that pearl in the center, that pearl of genius that all projectors carry, the unique mastery you carry. But the projector's kind of hidden, it's like, it's the silhouette. And what matters, what's really highlighted here is the rays that are shining from this pearl. And I think it's about you remembering that if you get caught up on your own insecurities or fears or doubts or blocks, or you're hung on to, or you're stuck on, you're hanging on to people in your life that aren't really supporting those depths or encouraging them, you don't have to take it so personal. Instead, you can reorient to, what are the pathways, the people, and the places that allow my light to shine through the strongest in all of its depth and wisdom and beauty. And it's not about you personally, right? Like, all we see is a silhouette of this person. It's about what's emanating from him or her. So I do feel like 2022 has you all, as you embrace your true self, stepping into positions where you get to shine out that true self in order to empower others. So let's see what we have going on with my Threads of Fate Oracle deck. Let's build on this message a little bit. We have Destruction right next to the Apocalypsis card. I swear I do not plan this. I'll also push these up a little bit so we have more space. So we have Destruction. There's definitely something, and I think this is really good because it's all making way for this illumination. There is a destruction happening. There's a breaking down. There's a sacred destruction. There is a sacred apocalypsis happening in 2022 for you. And I really feel like this is wanting to be celebrated because it's bringing you into a place where your depths is where you're sharing from. You're here to share from your depths, pile number 2. So you're going to have experiences that allow you to feel that depth and allow you to gain a higher perspective. So we have card number 2 for this deck, higher perspective. And it's interesting because both higher perspective and the ocean have a similar kind of theme here. The ocean has this vastness and this expansiveness to it that can really give us a perspective on life. When we just look out at the ocean, we look out at the horizon. Higher perspective is the same thing. So I feel like maybe it's not even that something's going to self-destruct or destruct in 2022, but it's more so you're going to be gaining a higher perspective on things that have destructed in your life. Maybe destruction that you've gone through, death and rebirth that you've gone through. You're going to gain the wisdom from it and start sharing it. Maybe you're stepping onto the path of personal coaching or things related to trauma or emotions or healing. Working with people and supporting people through deep processes could definitely be something that's happening. And then we have share wisdom. Are you kidding? Look at this. Share wisdom, the self, higher perspective, the ocean, destruction, apocalypsis. So you are definitely stepping into a role of like space holding. I feel this in some way, shape, or form. Pile number 2. It's time for you to share your wisdom. It's time for you to share the immense wisdom that you have cultivated from the depths of experience that you've had in your life. Okay, let's go into our next deck, the Sacred Rebels. We have Heaven Sent. And then we have Going Beyond Normal. Okay. Yeah, everything that's happened to you, pile number 2, if you have had a pretty intense childhood or an intense healing journey, everything that's happened to you truly has happened to you for a reason. And I know that is said so much, but for you, pile number 2, it's really true. I think you're going to find that the things that have been hardest for you in your life, the things that you have had to resurrect from, are heaven sent on your path. They are your greatest teachers and the greatest way in which you're going to be able to share with the world and come into a place of sharing wisdom and deep, true selfhood. What is it to be you? It's everything you've gone through. And you're not like everybody else, pile number 2. No one is, especially not projectors. You are here to stand out. You're kind of here to be misunderstood in a way. So don't be afraid to embrace that path that maybe feels a bit quirky. I do feel like you carry really unique wisdom, pile number 2, and you might even be drawn to more counterculture approaches. I like to not be too politically inclined with much of my offerings and sharings here, but for example, you might be that person who's like very counterculture, or if everyone's saying this is the way, you might be the one who's looking in the other way. You like to look for the deeper pearl of wisdom. You like to dig to the depths, and I do feel like the wisdom you bring through, the stranger the better. I just thought of the Hosier song that has that lyric, someone new, I fall in love with someone new. I invite you to listen to that song and see what comes up for you. It might not have any resonance, but that song just popped in my head. So maybe it's worth something. Maybe something will come up as you listen to that. But there is a sense of going beyond normal. And I love that these even look very similar. We have the pearl and then we have the light bulb. So it's like those light bulb moments, those things that allow you to tap into those light bulb moments, bring forth that greatest pearl of wisdom from you. So definitely prioritize, I would say, contemplative, deep, pensive time. And let's see if the tarot has anything to say about that for what the story unfolding here is. Okay, so we have Two of Cups in reverse. I need to see a little bit more. Then we have Page of Wands in reverse. Then we have the Artist. I'm just going to put them all out, actually. I didn't do this last time. We have the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords in reverse. So I feel like for you, pile number 2, a lot of you may have had in this last year like a lot of heartbreak, or maybe you've built up some walls around your heart. And actually, as I'm saying this, I feel like this could really be revealing for some of you that wherever you have felt heartbroken in your life, that has actually led you on the path of becoming the artist in your life, of choosing your path, of becoming abundant, of feeling your own personal sense of power and volition. It's like heartbreak has taught you a lot, pile number 2. You guys are really deep. I feel like this is a really deep group, and you've seen a lot. But what I really love about this Nine of Wands card in reverse is usually this card's about boundaries. I see you guys loosening up your boundaries. I do see a focus on more like earthly pursuits, such as building a business or putting in more time at work, in accordance with your strategy and authority. I do feel like you are ready to bring forth maybe a lot of this heartache that has caused you to change your path so many times. And maybe for whatever this is worth, it's coming through. I think a lot of you in the past have put others before yourself. You have put others' hearts before your own. And maybe that has given you a few rounds of heartbreak, whether it was platonically or romantically. And now it's about you prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your growth, prioritizing yourself, your mission, your vision. And what I also love is that the Five of Swords, which is one of the most challenging cards in the tarot, is in reverse. So I feel like you're coming out of any kind of space that you have been in of heartbreak or fear of betrayal. I really feel like for pile number 2, there's a really strong message coming through saying in 2022, let your heart open again. Let yourself trust. Your depths can be met. Your depths can be held, but be choosy, be discerning. So focus on yourself. Gain the pearls of wisdom from all that has changed in your life. But don't be afraid to open your heart. Don't be afraid to paint a new story, to go after your vision. You don't have to protect yourself anymore. Everything you've learned has been for you to show up to be able to share and teach with others. And that's a great gift that you carry. So your heartbreak isn't a burden. It's helped you become, again, there's such an emotional quality to this deck. Like, it's helped you become so wise. And wisdom is not always gained in a pretty easy, abundant, fertile way. Sometimes it's hard stuff, but I feel like that tide is turning, pile number 2. And now it's a time for you to drop your barriers, drop your boundaries, move towards your vision. Do not fear betrayal. Do not expect betrayal to come your way. Prioritize yourself, your depth, your direction, and you will align with the right people. So what do we have for pile number 2 in terms of the Journey to Love cards? What does love have in store for you, pile number 2? And this could be across the boards love. It doesn't have to only be romantic. It's what's the love message for you for 2022? We have Heart of the Moment. So this card is actually all about forgiveness. It's about seeing the higher perspective. It's about seeing that all things do come back to love. So I do feel for pile number 2, there seems to me, especially with this red rose, I do feel like maybe there has been a sense of betrayal of some sort that your heart is healing from. And I think 2022 is going to bring a lot of blessings for you in getting a higher perspective and healing, and seeing that it's safe to trust and that it's safe to honor your vision and to be yourself and to honor your depths. And those depths will not be disrespected as long as you're respecting yourself and aligning with the right people and really honoring your emotions and who you feel drawn to and who you do not feel drawn to. But there's a big piece here on forgiveness. And I think that the forgiveness will come easier when you start sharing your wisdom and realize that you have acquired such a depth and wealth of wisdom from everything you've experienced in your life. When you start sharing it, you're going to receive so much love back tenfold from people who can benefit from your wisdom. So that brings us to the end of your reading, pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed, and sending you many blessings for 2022. Welcome to your reading, pile number 3, for those of you who chose the citrine crystal. We're losing daylight hours here, and I currently have no power after the snowstorms in Northern California, but let's see what we can do. So let's see what 2022 has in store for you, pile number 3. We're going to start with the archetype deck cards. Wow, this is a beautiful card. We have the prayer. Then you have the lover. I already love the color scheme going on here. Wow. I feel a real softness with you all. Then we have the castle. Okay, so yeah, look at that one a little bit longer. Pearls, the rose, the gems. There's a very strong feminine essence to this pile. I'm going to start by saying that. A lot of feminine energy happening here. I also get a lot of devotional energy and a lot of beauty. Like, these cards are actually, like, they're so beautiful. Each pile has been so unique. This is amazing. So different than pile number 2, so different than pile number 1. I love as well that there is this theme of, there's actually been a theme of this whole pick a card reading of the pearl. But each of these cards has a pearl-like symbol in it. And I feel like for you, pile number 3, 2022 is going to have you discovering or unearthing or excavating from the depths of your heart the pearl of your own softness. I get a very soft energy from this group that 2022 has in store for you, an art of softening, like a prayer. You know, of course we can pray fiercely, but even the act of praying, it is very devotional. It's tender. It is sweet. It's loving. It's opening our hearts to God, to Source, to Creator, to Creatrix. And I feel like 2022 has a lot of that in store for you, pile number 3. This element of how can you soften into your prayer? How can you be the prayer? How can you embrace more of your lover archetype? Fall in love with life. Let your existence be a prayer. How can you let your existence be a prayer, pile number 3? I feel like there's a lot of feminine activation happening for you all. And when we have the castle card can symbolize a lot around dreams. And it's about, it can be a little bit two-sided. Follow your dreams. Don't be afraid to build that castle in the sky, but also be aware, are your fantasies and dreams trapping you in a castle? And I feel like some of you may be softening and realizing, like, no, it's safe to dream. It's safe to have fantasies. It's safe to want beautiful things. It's safe to have desire and to be a lover in this world and to pursue art and magic and beauty. I think some of you are coming to the terms with the fact that it's not an illusion and it's not a trap. It is safe to do that. It's safe to be a lover in this world. It's safe to live a devotional, prayer-oriented life. Doesn't mean you have to be religious. It's about how to live your prayers. I feel like that's a big mantra coming through for you, group number 3, and I want to keep saying it, is like, you are the prayer. Your existence is the prayer. How can you make your life an offering? I'm not trying to sound so hyper spiritual or religious here. It's just like, I feel like there's this very sweet, creative essence blossoming through you all that has a devotional quality. So maybe you're going to embrace more spirituality. Maybe you're going to embrace more of an artistic path. Maybe you're going to deepen in love for yourself, for life, for another. Maybe you're going to find something that you really love that feels like it's a prayer for you. So when you're doing it, you literally feel like you're praying. I would say this is what 2022 is bringing for you, pile number 3, is like into more embodiment, into more sensual, creative, feminine embodiment. So let's see what we have for your Sacred Rebels card. Okay, you guys got one more than the other decks. Release the dark wound, let love live. Okay, so yeah, you're letting go of some heaviness, pile number 3. I feel like a lot of you have thought that life had to be so heavy. And again, I think there was some fear around all of this. It's like, oh, the lover, oh, the prayer. And you're realizing now that some of that was like a castle that you had yourself trapped in. You were at the top of this stone castle, not letting yourself taste the beauty of life. And I feel like 2022 is really like, taste the beauty of life. Let your life be the prayer. Fall in love with life. Release the dark wounds. Let love live. Oh, dream a beautiful dream. That is so fitting for what we are picking up on here with this pile. Dream a beautiful dream. What if life really could be a prayer answered? What is your greatest prayer for your life? What is your greatest prayer for humanity? How can you start living as if that prayer were actualized? I do feel like pile number 3, you are here to come up with a new way of doing things in this world, but it's not going to be in the way the world has done it. It's not going to be through force and really articulated structure. It's going to be through love. It's going to be through prayer and devotion. It's going to be through dreams and imagination and coming up with new possibilities. So I do feel like I'm excited to see this next card, because I feel like there is this kind of constructive element to you all, but it's like you're not going to get there the way you used to get there. So for pile number 3, you want to build things, you want to share things, but I really feel like you're being asked to soften more into your lover and more into your like feminine devotional qualities in order to receive that vision, in order to come up with that new dream, so that it's coming from a really creative, nourishing place. And then for the 3rd card, we have Visions of Life Beyond Death, with the peacock and the owl and the elder. In reverse order, the elder, the peacock, the crow, and the owl. So yeah, when I see Visions of Life Beyond Death and when I see the prayer, I do feel like spirituality is going to have a very heightened place in your life in 2022. Maybe you're going to really, again, I keep getting the word devotion for you all, because it's not about discipline, it's about devotion. It's not about doing the things and going to the retreats and collecting the experiences. It's about how much are you fully immersing in what you are doing? How much are you devoting with your heart, with your breath, with your presence? Devotion, I feel, is a very strong word for you for 2022, pile number 3. And I feel like you're going to learn a lot through highly devotional spaces, so highly spiritual spaces. Maybe you are going to explore some form of, I don't want to say religion, but like, yeah, spiritual path, or learn more of what that means for you. I do feel like there is a lot of this in store for you, pile number 3. Okay, let's see what we have for your threads of fate. Sacred sexuality. We'll put that with the lover and the prayer. Power. It's getting really dark here. See if I can brighten it on my settings. Yes, so again, I feel a lot of feminine energy from this pile. Doesn't mean you have to be a woman. I feel a lot of your growth in 2022 is going to come through you embracing more feminine ways of being in the world. Now, feminine is not just passive, wear a white dress and eat chocolate in the bathtub. Feminine is our deep connection to nature, to our primal sensuality, to our creativity. And I do feel like for you, group number 3, connecting more to the lover archetype, connecting more to your sensuality, there's a lot of opening for you in this path. So I do feel like you're being invited in 2022 to have a much more devoted, present, creative connection with life. This could look like you exploring more with your sensuality. Maybe you want to start learning about Tantra. Because what I see here is that when you embrace a very devotional way of connecting to life, whether it's through spirituality or through Tantra or through spiritual groups or through meditation or through movement or dancing or some kind of art or music, it helps you tap into deep power from within. So I'm seeing for you in 2022, a lot of your power is coming from within. You're going on this really yummy, luxurious, rich journey into your own sensuality, sensitivity, femininity, creativity. Oh, we have one more here. Transmute. Ooh, yeah, you guys are going through a transformation in 2022. You're not doing things the way you used to do them. There's a whole new you coming through, and it wants to be done in a pleasurable, blissful, creative, artistic way. Have any of you been called to studying Tantra? I do feel like there's a lot for you in that. So we have the Four of Wands reversed. Let's see, we need the full storyline here. Ace of Wands reversed. Okay, I'm going to start here. Okay, when I see the Four of Wands reversed and the Ace of Wands reversed, I feel like it's not as important for you in 2022 to be focused on like crusading your path or building a lot of structure. It's more about the sensuality and the femininity and the flow. We also have the Chariot in reverse. The Chariot is a card about moving forward and willpower. So what I see here is a lot of deconditioning around structure, a lot of deconditioning around like a very action-oriented forward movement. We also have Seven of Swords in reverse. So what Seven of Swords, when it's upright, has to do with kind of feeling like betrayed or someone got away with something kind of dodgy, whether it was you or another. So when this card is reversed, it shows me that there's a fairness coming through. And I also get the word balance. Maybe in the past you have stripped your own energy past what you can truly give, and now it's about you leaning more into how can I resource myself with prayer, with devotion, with love, with sensuality, with my dreams, and trust myself more. We have the Lovers. Now this card is about life choices. It's not only about love, but we do have the Lover card here twice. So this shows me that 2022, the theme of love is going to be very important for you. It could be stepping into a really sacred partnership. It could be exploring Tantra and sacred sensuality. It could be through having some major life transitions you make. I do feel like the Lover's card is about our values, our virtues, major paths in life and choosing the path. And I really feel like you're being given this opportunity here in 2022 to lean more into the path of your feminine. What would your feminine heart say, man or woman? What really matters? We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. So yeah, there's a strong message coming through for you all, like less mental and like fiery aggression, more water, more sensitivity, more sensuality. But then we do have the Emperor holding it down. So I feel like that's really actually beautiful to have that card at the very end after so much sensuality and femininity. And there's definitely a strong presence for this deck. 2022 is not about really trying to push things ahead or build really strong structures. It's more about feeling. It's more about devotion. It's more about prayer. It's more about love. It's more about sensuality. It's more about Tantra. It's more about what it is to live a tantric life. This isn't just about sexuality. This is living a prayer. How can you be a living prayer? Now, when I see the Emperor as the final card, again, I feel like this is all going to lead to you building something, but it's not like, to me, it doesn't feel like it's imminent. I don't feel like you need to be building something right now. I feel like these are actually, you embracing this path is you devoting to building better structures in your life on a foundational level. It's like you're really balancing, and you're not going to lose, that pragmatism you might have had. You're not going to lose your passion and your intellect, but you are going through a transformation. And you got the Transmute card. It's like it's time for you to transmute and explore doing things in a new way. And this is going to, maybe you'll see it in a year or 2 years' time. This is really going to be important in the larger picture and the longer term scheme of your life. So the final card we have is from my Journey of Love deck. So it's a love card, but it's more like love as an essence. I mean, you can take it however you want it, but this card is really showing us what's a love message that wants to come through. If love as an entity were to give you a message for 2022, what does it have to say? And you got card number 63, the Light Field. Now this card is actually all about opening up to, let's say, the other side. It's a card of mediumship. It's a card of having a heightened psychic field. It's a card of starting to peer beyond the veils and perhaps even receive connection or communication, not to scare any of you, but from other planes or other dimensions or those that you love who have passed. This is a card about connecting beyond this 3D, 4D physical reality. So when I see this card, and I also think about that visions of life beyond death, this is a highly devotional group. And whether you are currently like this or not, I feel like that's what 2022 has in store for you. It's like more devotion, more spirituality, more sensuality. And I feel like that's the thing with all of these lovers cards and the sacred sexuality. I feel like you journeying more into your feminine through sensuality, creativity, art, prayer is going to support you to actually increase your psychic gifts. I think you're here to be quite psychic in this world. Not psychic, like just predicting the future, but to have these extrasensory capacities. And embracing the path of the lover, embracing the path of the devotee, embracing the path of the feminine in your own way, shape, and form is going to support these gifts to heighten and really come through. And you may find that you start receiving like communication. You might start perhaps having really altered dream states, or become very clairaudient perhaps, and like hear things in it. It's all to serve. It's the light field. It's serving the light, but the light wants to communicate to you and through you, and it's able to do that more when you are prioritizing living a devotional life, a prayerful life, being a living prayer. So that brings us to the end of your reading, pile number 3. I hope you enjoy, and I'm wishing you a beautiful 2022. And finally, we are at, last but not least, we're at pile number 4 for those of you who chose the rose quartz. So I have pulled out some extra candles because we are losing daylight here and my town is currently without power up here in Northern California. So we're going to get that intimate kind of mood lighting for this final deck, and we're going to see what 2022 has in store for you, pile number 4. So let's look at your archetype cards. Through the archetype deck, we have card number 1, the King. And card number 2, the Mother. Okay, interesting. You know, it's so fascinating. Every pile has been so different, which is actually pretty unique. And then we have the Vow. Okay, I'm getting a really strong, this may only be for some of you. I feel like for you, pile number 4, there is a big commitment coming your way in 2022. 2022 has in store for you this like new commitment of your energy. I do feel like for some of you, this could be becoming a parent. This could be getting married, finding your quote unquote king or queen. I feel like you are ready to make, whether you know it or not, 2022 says you are ready to make some new commitment, a big life choice, a big life transition, to make a vow. I really feel this, and I feel hesitant because it might not be for all of you, but it's definitely a theme that's showing up, and I'm excited to see the rest of the cards because I do feel like there's a strong commitment coming your way. Now, this could also be stepping into a role of provider. You know, it doesn't have to be becoming a physical parent. That could be one iteration of it. If some of you have been trying to become parents or thinking about maybe having children, I do feel like that is quite literally put in the cards. So be cautious if you're not wanting that. But it could also be mothering a creation, mothering a project, mothering a new business, stepping into a position of king or queen and being a provider. You're a provider for your family or a provider in the world. You're making some vow in 2022. There is this strong, wow, we're going out strong here with pile number 4. You're making a commitment. Maybe you already know what it is, and maybe you feel tingles down your neck hearing this because you've been wondering if you're ready to commit to something. You are. You are pile number 4. You're ready to make some big vow. And we have here, how many moons? We have 3, 6, 10. 10 is number of completion. So I do feel like there's a completion happening for you, pile number 4. There's a completion and a clarity. So let's see what we have with some other cards to get some additional insight here. We're going to look at my Threads of Fate cards. We have the revolutionary carrying the flaming torch. Let's move these up a little bit. And then we have love. Are some of you like wanting to get married or propose to somebody? I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a vow or a commitment on the way. And the outlaw. Okay, so this is fascinating. You're such an interesting group, pile number 4. I do get a very strong... Again, it doesn't feel like just masculine or just feminine, but there is a courageousness to you, pile number 4. I feel like you're a very courageous group. I feel like you're very gutsy. Whether you're a man or woman, it's like you embody those qualities of like the fierce feminine or the powerful masculine. There's definitely like, I want to say kind of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, it's not that much of a swear. There's like a kick-ass quality to you, group number 4. And you're committing to that even more. And you're realizing that your flavor of love, like the way that you love in the world, the way that you show your love and share your love and provide your love is really brave and courageous and fearless. It might not be the tender, sweet, like super like gentle love. I feel like you, group number 4, whether it's something that you're stepping into, that you're ready to make a vow to, or something you've always known about yourself, you're ready to let this flaming torch of your heart be your GPS, be your guiding light. Realizing like, hey, I don't have to do it like everyone else is doing it. I'm here to be a revolutionary. I'm here to find my own way of doing things. I'm here to make my own vows. I'm here to follow my own path, my own heart-led path, my own courage. You're the outlaw. You break tradition, but you honor vows. So there's some kind of unconventional vow. Please let us know in the comments if this is resonating. I feel like 2022 for you is either going to be this living vow, or you're going to find yourself committing to something and making a vow to maybe quite an unconventional approach, or maybe this is you committing to your power, committing to your heart, committing to sharing your heart in this world in your own way, and whether that is with another. I do feel like 2022 is asking you all to be really courageous and really fearless. It wants you to be gutsy. It's like the gutsier, the better. The braver, the better. The fiercer, the better. The more rebellious, the better. The more revolutionary, the better. Don't be afraid to stand out. Let that be your vow. I am so committed to the truth of my heart. I don't care if it makes me stand out or not. I feel like you're here to break molds this year, 2022, for you. You're here to break the molds in 2022, pile number 4. And there's some vow, there's some promise. Maybe this is a vow you're making to your own heart. But I do feel like there's something happening here with love in you guys' life, or family, or something. I'm not exactly sure, but you're breaking out and breaking into something. And maybe that's part of it. It's like you're breaking out of something. You're being the revolutionary, you're being the outlaw, so that you can commit to love even deeper, so that you can make a vow even deeper to yourself, to another, to life. Now we're going to look at the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck and see what we have in store for you there to build on the insights here. First card is Pandora's Gift. So as you can somewhat see, there's a woman holding a mask. And the mask is styled like butterfly, parrot, peacock feathers, all of these colors. And this card is all about, again, breaking out of illusions. I feel like for you, pile number 4, you're getting to this place where it's like the inner revolutionary in you is waking up. 2022 is a year for you to break any molds that are keeping you small, that are keeping you from your kingdom or queendom, to mother or father yourself into your own initiation, to make these vows to yourself. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid if it gets a little wild. Revolutionaries can handle the wild. And I feel like 2022 is bringing a lot of that kind of energy for you. Is like, you're going to discover a whole new way of living. You're going to break traditions. You're going to break maybe old vows that you have had in the past. So again, I feel like there's this theme here of like, in 2022, you are both deeply committing and investing in something, but at the same time, you're simultaneously breaking away from things that don't no longer serve you. You're embracing your revolutionary, your outlaw, saying, no, I'm not doing that anymore, but this is what I am doing. So it's not like you're running away from something. It's like you're powerfully moving towards something. And it's going to be very vast. This card is not about a simple path. This card is about following the path of mystery and passion and wonder. You're here for a full-fledged existence, pile number 4. And if that's something you've been calling in, I think 2022 is going to have some amazing blessings in store for you. And then we have the card, Focus on the Light. And it's a woman holding a light within the sunflower. So what I see with this card, you're moving toward the light of your own heart. Like, you're moving towards what truly lights you up. And I think that perhaps for you, pile number 4, a lot of you have prioritized other people, other people's needs, other people's vows, making promises and commitments to other people. And I feel like 2022 is saying, what do you need for you? What's going to illuminate you the most? What's going to uplift you the most? What's going to break you free the most? Focus on the light. Focus on what brings you joy. Focus on what excites you. Make that your vow. I feel like this is a year of resurrection for a lot of you. Like, you're coming out of something. You're breaking away from something, but you're moving powerfully towards something else. And maybe you have already felt it coming. Maybe you already know what it is. Maybe you've already felt these invitations. I do feel like 2022 is like you're stepping into something as a king, as a mother, as a queen, as a father. You're making this new vow and powerfully moving towards something. This could be in relationship, this could be family, this could be business. You're really feeling your power, but it's coming from your heart. It's coming from deep in your heart, not like a superficial or material kind of power, but what lights your heart up. What evokes that revolutionary in you, that heart fire, that soul fire? Okay, let's see what we have for your tarot cards to paint more of a picture here. First card we have is the 4 of Pentacles reversed. So letting go of scarcity. I love that card in reverse. It's like you're letting go of holding on. Maybe you all have been holding on to something, you've been holding on to a vow, or you've been unconsciously vowing and committing to something. You're letting it go in 2022. Yep, the hanged man is reversed. So it's no longer time to wait. It's time to act. It's time to move. Then we also have the 5 of Cups in reverse. So this card, when it's upright, is about feelings of loss. When it's reverse, it's about feelings of gain. It's about feeling like the tides are turning in your favor emotionally. Then we have King of Cups, King card. And King of Cups is like a merging of deep masculine and deep feminine qualities. It's what is masculine leadership that is, attuned to the feminine. So I feel like you are rising as like a heart leader in the world, is what I'm getting. You're showing a new way of being a leader. And this could apply to any element of your life, but you're stepping into like integrated leadership where you can be the revolutionary, you can be the outlaw, but you're deeply tapped into the heart. You're connected to the mother archetype. You're connected to love and compassion, but you're gutsy. And then we have the 6 of Swords reversed. So 6 of Swords often, when it's upright, talks about being removed from a situation, sometimes with a bit of despair or sadness. And I feel like you're either overcoming something like that, or again, tides are turning in your favor. Maybe something you thought was leaving your life is actually not, or a change you thought you had to make that was really upsetting you, you realize you don't have to make it. I'm getting something like that. It's like you're changing your mind. Some things are leaving. Some vows are being broken so that better ones can be made. But some things you thought had to leave your life, and they actually don't. They have a place in it. The key here is to look for the things that, okay, moon card, the things that feel good in your heart, the things that emotionally feel stabilizing for you. If you've been trying to get rid of something that you actually really care about emotionally in a healthy way, I don't think you have to. I'm just fully channeling this right now. I don't even know if this is going to resonate for any of you, but I do feel like some of you, this could just even be for one person, you've been feeling like you had to get rid of something. Maybe it's a hobby or a passion or a dream you had. And like this pile is saying, don't give it up so quickly. Maybe give it a moon cycle. Sleep on it, wait on it. Contemplate under the moonlight. Contemplate at nighttime. There are some things that are leaving your life for sure. There are some vows that need to be broken, some vows that you have been living by that are not truly serving you. And I think the message here is like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because you guys can be really bold. You guys can be really bold. I feel that. I feel like you're not afraid to make a mess. You're very courageous. You're very fierce. But it's a balancing act. Not everything has to go. Not all parts of you have to go. Change doesn't have to happen overnight. So really sit with that. Sit with your heart. Sit with your feminine, the mother, and say, okay, what things really nurture me deeply? And what things do I truly feel I want in my life? What things bring me nourishment and a healthy resourcefulness? Okay, I'm going to keep them. What things don't? Okay, I'm going to let them go and replace them. Now, the final card for you, pile number 4, is a love card. This is called, the deck is called Journey of Love. So this is just giving us as if love were an entity or an essence, what message would it have for you for 2022? And this could ripple through relationships, through vows, whatever it is that's happening for you in 2022, pile number 4. It's looking pretty fantastic. This card is going to give a bit of an additional insight. So we have card number, it's hard to see in the dark, 9, Heart of God. Okay. One thing I definitely notice about this deck visually is that there's a lot of warmth. There's a lot of warmth. And something I feel to say is maybe some of you are moving. Maybe some of you are moving somewhere that you didn't think you could before. Or like you didn't let yourself do it, and now you're ready to do it. Some of you might be moving somewhere warm. But this card, Heart of God, holds a message for you. Direct from the divine. You have a sacred purpose to fulfill upon this earth. And it's all sorted out. The situation, the issue, this awakening that you seek and are living even now is held lovingly in the hands of the divine creator. The creator says to you, leave it with me. It's all unfolding in perfection. I am alive in your heart. I am your heart. So I do feel here a really strong sense of balance. It's like you guys know what it is to be courageous, to be bold. I'm getting like Aries, Sagittarius energy. You know how to go for it. So it's about how can you weave and let those actions come from a deep heart-centered place. You know, you have this really strong polarizing dynamic of like the king and the mother, the moon and the sun, you know, the cups and then the fire. It's this balance. I feel like 2022 is opening you up into a more balanced state within yourself, where you can be that revolutionary and move courageously and make these powerful vows, but from a place that's coming from deep heart-centeredness. So that is all that I have for you, pile number 4. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm wishing you a beautiful 2022.